Hey everyone, I'm just making a short video to introduce you to a massive new project that we've just launched in partnership with the Alliance Council of Australia. The purpose of this project is to raise the public's awareness of the crazy power grab which is currently being attempted by the World Health Organization. I won't go into too much detail now because there is more information available on our website, but suffice it to say that if this thing goes ahead, it will dramatically change the way Australia responds to future public health emergencies. It would basically be a situation where the WHO would say jump, and Australia would have to ask how high. And as we've all seen during the pandemic, we know exactly how high they would want us to jump. So it's scary stuff. It affects every Australian, whether they know it or not. But we're trying to fight back against that and resist it. And one of the ways we're doing that is with Australia's greatest letterbox drop. That's a brand new initiative that we've launched. I've been intimately involved in creating it and designing things on the digital front. And I'm actually going to walk you through right now so that you can see for yourself how quick and easy and simple it is for you to get involved, because this initiative will live or die based on our volunteers. And so we're encouraging everyone to volunteer, and I'm going to show you right now exactly how you can do that. So stay tuned, I'm going to walk you through it step by step. What you're looking at right here is the homepage of Australia's greatest letterbox drop. Now this is all hosted on the Winston Smith Initiative website. We've completely redesigned the website to accommodate this project. And there's a few different things to look at and explain. I'm going to take them one by one. But first I'll just give you a real quick overview of what we're actually trying to achieve. So as you can see over here on the left, we've printed more than 1 million flyers. And the purpose of those flyers is to raise the average person's awareness of what the World Health Organization is attempting and what it means for everyday Australians. But when you've got over 1 million flyers, obviously you can't deliver them all yourself. You need a team of people, an entire army of volunteers. And that's what we're trying to facilitate here. We want to get people registered to volunteer from all over Australia, and we want to make this a really interactive experience so people can actually visualize the impact that they're making. Now you can see over here on the right, this map's already populated with all these different symbols. And what these symbols represent, if we zoom in, we've got all these different markers, and each one of these markers represents a delivery zone which has been registered by a volunteer. So these are people who put their hand up to register, they've gained access to flyers, and they're now going to be delivering them in their local area. So if we zoom all the way in, you can actually see these little geographical areas, these little bubbles here, they all represent areas that flyers are going to be delivered to. And that's all over Australia. It's not just on the east coast. As you can see, we come down here. We've got quite a few already near Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, in the heart of Australia, all the way over here in Perth. So this is truly something that we hope will unite like-minded people from all over the country. And I'm sure this map's going to fill up with markers as time goes on, because the feedback we've already got is outstanding. And if you come down here, we've actually got 160 people already on board. 160 people from 41 different electorates. You can see the leaderboard here, which tracks the volunteers in each electorate. For reasons I'll explain later, not all of those people showed on here, and that's for reasons of authentication. I'll explain that in a moment. What I want to get to first, though, is how you can volunteer. If this is something you're interested in and passionate about, we want you to be able to quickly and easily register yourself. So here's how you do that. You come down here, register to deliver, and the first thing you're going to see is the flyer that you're delivering. Obviously, that's important. If you're going to put your hand up, you need to know what it is that you're distributing. The cool thing about this is you can click it and you can see either side. So on the front here, we've got some attention-grabbing artwork, and on the back, we've got just some text here which explains what we're about, what we're standing against. And then down here, there's a QR code which links to the Alliance Council of Australia's website. And that basically just lists a whole bunch of options that everyday people can take to get involved. If you want to know more, you can come down here. We've got a bunch of quotes. We've got speeches with timestamps, interviews, other sources of information. We encourage you to read that all in your own time. But when you're ready, you can come back here, click Get Involved, and then it will bring you to this page. Now, we've tried to make this as simple and streamlined as possible. We do not want to overwhelm you with information. So all we're asking for is a town or suburb. So you start typing where you live. In my case, that's Adelaide. This is all synced in with Google Maps, so you'll see autofill options. Click the option that applies to you, and then click Confirm. Now, this is an important part, setting your delivery zone. This is not strictly compulsory, but we strongly recommend it, and I'll explain why. Basically, we want to make sure that our resources are being allocated efficiently. If we didn't have people set their delivery zone, it's possible that multiple volunteers who live nearby each other would end up delivering multiple flyers to the same houses, and their delivery routes would overlap and it would just be inefficient. We'd be wasting time and money and energy and resources, and we want to minimize that where possible. So, for example, in the eastern suburbs here, you can see your volunteers already filled that out. If I lived in the next block over, there's a possibility that we'd end up stepping on each other's toes. Like I said, we don't want that. So we've implemented this delivery zone feature, which basically allows you to say where you intend to deliver. And it's very easy to use. You just drag this marker here in the middle to reorient the zone, So let's say I live in this bottom corner. I can drag this all the way down here and basically block out that part of the map. And what I'm saying there is, this is the zone that I'm going to deliver to. This is the houses and the blocks that I'm taking responsibility for. And you can adjust the radius as well. So if you live in a sparsely populated country town, you might want to go 1 kilometer. If you live in a more densely populated area, you might want to go 250. So you just drag it to where you want it. Let's say I want to neatly cover this little corner down here. Drag that there, and that's blocked out. So when I'm happy with that, I come down and click Confirm Delivery Zone. And this is the final step here. Again, this is not strictly compulsory. You can come down here and click Proceed without email, but I'll explain why it's really important. Basically, we need to authenticate every delivery zone. If we didn't verify people's email addresses, then malicious agents like hackers and trolls could come in and they could just fill the entire map up with zones that they never intend to deliver to. And that would completely undermine the integrity of the map. So we want to avoid that. And a very simple way of doing that is by asking for people's email address and then sending an authentication link to that address, so that if people do want to mess with the map, they've got to go out of their way. And we're just adding barriers in front of people who want to undermine this activity. So this is very straightforward as well. We just type in our email address. Finally, click I'm not a robot. That's another important cybersecurity measure. And then we click Confirm and Register. And then that's all done. That'll redirect us to another page here. There's a few different options. I'll explain these all a little bit later, but basically you can download flyers and print them at home. You can order a bundle and we'll deliver it to your door. Or this third option here, we're still in the process of finalizing, but basically we're going to have distribution hubs in all the major cities. The idea being that if you live nearby, you can visit the hub, pick up a whole bundle of flyers for free, and then go on your way. I'll touch on all that in a moment though. So I'll come back down here. So we're back in the main page. And one thing I really want to emphasize to you, if you come down here to Adelaide now, you'll notice, you'll notice that the map that the zone that we just filled out on the map isn't visible. And that's because we haven't yet authenticated. So if I come up to my email here, that's the previous one. Here's the new one. So this is an automated email that I just got sent by the website. And it contains a link. And this link corresponds to the zone that we just set. So when I click that, it'll take you through here and it will automatically authenticate for you. There's nothing you need to do. It's really quick and simple. You simply click that link, and then the last thing you do is you select which electorate applies to you. And what that will do is it will update the electorate leaderboard so that your volunteer registration will actually be visible to other volunteers, and your electorate will sort of climb up the ranks. It's just a bit of friendly competition. I'll explain that later. But then we go submit. And we're back on the main page. And now, if we go to Adelaide again, you'll see that it's now updated. And if we go to the bottom of the city, that zone that we set is now visible to all our volunteers. So it's registered, it's authenticated, and it's on the website. And if we come down here, you wouldn't have known before, but Adelaide was on 1, now it's on 2. So that's updated in real time. And just for your interest, 162 volunteers registered, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's basically, in a nutshell, the process of how to register. The whole thing from start to finish only takes a couple of minutes. But then, of course, once you've registered, you need to get your hands on flyers. That's the most important part of the process. And as I alluded to earlier, there's 3 different ways to do that. The first way is to print. So you click down here, and there's 2 options. There's black and white and color. So you can click them, it'll open up a PDF file, and you can just download that and print it in your own time. You can do that at home, at the library, at Officeworks, whichever option is best for you. Alternatively, you can purchase, so you can come down here. This will redirect to the Winston Smith Initiative Shopify store. So we've got 2 options at the moment: bundles of 110 flyers for $12.50 and bundles of 700 flyers for $35. And the difference in price there is determined by Australia Post's postage. Some things fit in letters, other things fit in parcels. There's all sorts of weight restrictions and stuff. So that's the second option. And the third option is pickup. So basically how this works is we're aiming to have a distribution hub in every major city in Australia. And what we mean by distribution hub, basically that's just a volunteer who's offered to stockpile a large quantity of flyers at their property. And the idea is that you can reach out to them, contact them, arrange a time to pick up a bundle, and then you can just go to their house and collect the bundles from them. Totally for free. It's just another option we want to offer to people. And those hubs are represented by these flags. So when you click the flag, you'll see that you've got an email address, a phone number. The volunteers have consented to having these details shared online. And the idea is, basically, if you live in Newcastle and you're not able or willing to print, or you're not able and willing to purchase, you can come down here, click the flag, get the details of your local distributor, and you can make a time, arrange a time to pick up flyers from them. Now, one thing to quickly note is these flags are not the person's exact address. So if you go here to where the flag is planted, that's not going to take you to the exact place. This is just an approximation. It's a general location. So don't expect to find anything there, but do expect to find some assistance if you contact their email or phone number. And that's it. That's the 3 main ways to get your hands on flyers. And then once you've got your hands on the flyers, the rest is entirely up to you. You can deliver at any time of day. You can go with friends. All we would really encourage is that you try, where possible, to stay within your delivery zone. If you complete your delivery zone and you've still got flyers on hand, of course, stray beyond your zone, go into the next neighborhood, deliver until you've got nothing left to deliver. That's our main advice. But just try to work your way from the inside out in terms of those zones. Because again, it just really helps us when it comes to allocating our resources, and it makes sure that there's minimal overlap between delivery routes. There is one last thing I want to show you. If we come down here, you'll notice there's a drop-down box, and that drop-down box actually has 3 different options. Now, each of these options correspond to a different map mode. And basically, when we click this, for example, it'll show different information on the map. Now, I'm not going to show you the supported businesses one right now. That's something that we're still working on, but this is one that's really, really cool. So what this basically does is it has markers all over Australia that correspond to, and they're a little bit out of whack at the moment. Sometimes you got to zoom in and out for them to render correctly. But the point is, every marker on this map corresponds to an MP's office in Australia. So there is one marker here for each and every federal politician in Australia in the House of Representatives. And this is really cool. So if I come down here, we were in Adelaide before, so I'll try Adelaide again, type in the postcode, go submit, and that's going to take me straight to my local member. And not only does it take me to the local member, it's got a picture, it's got contact details, so you know how you can reach them physically at their office, by post, by their local number, by their parliamentary number, and by their email. Not only that, it also shows you how many people in this particular electorate have signed our petition up here. Now, people who've been following us for a while will know that we've been running a petition for a COVID-19 Royal Commission. That's coming up rapidly to 100,000 signatures now, which is really exciting. But what this map does is it breaks up those 94,797 signatures by electorate. So you can go around and you can click on each individual electorate and you can see how many people in each region have signed that petition. So that's a really good way of visualizing the support in every area. And we want to get this number up everywhere, whether it's New South Wales, Victoria, Perth, Tasmania, South Australia, Queensland, Northern Territory, ACT, wherever it is in Australia, we are trying to boost these numbers. Whether they've already got 1,000 or well over 1,000. And one really cool thing is if we come up here, this is my favorite place in Australia right now. If we come up here to the northern parts of Queensland, we've had a lot of support here. So 1,140, 1,415, oopsie days. In Mackay, 1,284, 1,013. Up here with Bobby Catter, 1,500, 1,200. So there is a lot of support on the northeastern part of Australia. That's really, really cool. We're really proud of that. But like I said, we want to get these numbers up everywhere. Even the regions which haven't been supportive so far, they're the ones we want to reach the most. So that's really cool. And the last thing as well, if you come down here, the Alliance Council of Australia is actively recruiting volunteers and community leaders in every federal electorate. Basically, if you want to take on more responsibility, if you've delivered the flyers and you decide you want to step up your commitment to this cause, you can come down here and click Learn More, and this will take you to a registration form which is operated by the Alliance Council of Australia. Now, I actually don't have anything to do with this. The information you submit here doesn't reach me, but it does go to Katrina, who's in charge at the ACA. They're really good people, and they're really trying to get organised and create basically a parallel representative system in Australia. We want to put a representative or two representatives in every single electorate so that we can really build a strong, organised, sustainable resistance to all the madness we've seen over the past few years, and which we'll continue to see if we don't put a stop to it. This is a very simple form. First name, last name, email, postcode, federal electorate. Gives you the option to nominate for one of a couple roles. I won't explain them right now, but there is more information available upon request. For example, you could click that. And when you're ready, you click submit, and then that'll go through to the guys at the ACA. They'll process that request, and they'll reach out to you with information on how you can get involved. But that's all I really have to talk to you about. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. At the end of the day, this is something that we are super optimistic about. We think this has got a lot of potential. And the really important thing to note is this isn't just about the next few weeks. This is about the next few years. Now that we've got the infrastructure in place, we want to build a network of flyer deliveries and logistics which can be utilized week after week, month after month, for as long as we need it. And so we're really planting the seeds here for something which could truly grow into something special. And this is your opportunity to be a part of that from the get-go. So we've put a lot of work into this. I've personally put hundreds of hours and a little bit of money as well, to be honest, into making this a reality. But it's now up, it's running, it's working. I couldn't be prouder. The only thing that could make me prouder is if everyone watching this gets on board, because then we'll have a formidable resistance. And I tell you what, we really could start to make some change. For a long time in Australia, the independence movement's been disorganized and there's been infighting and bickering. For the first time in a long time, we're all on the same page. We're all working together. So I take a lot of hope and optimism out of that, and I think you should too. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this to the end, and please get involved if you can. Thank you.